In this episode, all about ring bloopers.
Hi there, bridal couples to be.
Welcome to How to Get Married in Holland.
The ultimate wedding podcast of and about the Netherlands.
We, wedding ceremony experts, aka celebrants Daphne and Jasperin, share all ins and outs of getting married in our flat and fabulous country.
Enjoy listening. Yes, ring bloopers. Of course you hope, your wedding day, your big day, the most beautiful day of your life. It will be perfect in every way. But reality, well, sometimes is pretty different.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to the rings, right, Jasperin?
Yeah, the standard is that the rings don't glide on the finger as smoothly as you would want it to do.
Yeah, because you feel different, right? Maybe you were a bit nervous in the beginning of the ceremony.
It's an exciting situation. You don't do
Yeah.
this every day, especially not, in your wedding dress and wedding suit with all those guests surrounding you. Maybe it's warm. And then the moment arrives when the wedding officiant says, now you may put the ring on the finger of your husband to symbolize your love. And then you try and do that. And then you don't get it on his finger, or you just have to wobble.
Yeah.
It
It's
always
stuck.
Yeah, it's stuck. It's always a moment that is good for laughter.
Yeah.
I always tell them, just take your time. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, twist and turn a little bit.
Yeah, but
What
sometimes it
if
doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you see the hesitation in their eyes. So do we spit on it?
Yes.
Or I once had a bride who put the ring finger of her husband to be in her mouth, to moisturize it, but it was a pretty sensual gesture. So everyone was a bit uncomfortable, especially the parents. So ever since then, that very experience, I always carry a little tube of hand lotion with me. So whenever it's needed, I can put on a little drop, and then it goes very smoothly.
Oh, that's very good. But there are also different ways of bringing the rings to the bridal couple and things that go wrong then. Let's talk about animals.
Yes.
Helping a bridal couple out or not by bringing the rings. The birds of prey. You've had them. I've had them.
Yes. I had owls. And they were carrying the real rings.
Yes.
So tip number 1, don't ever put your real rings in the claws of a bird.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, it is it wasn't completely wild. It was a bit tamed and trained. However, as it turns out, owls don't like to fly above water. And the ceremony was at the end of a pond, a castle garden. And the birds decided to go elsewhere in the woods with the rings. They went.
No way.
Bit panic.
Did it return?
Eventually they did. They were luring it with some dead mice.
Yeah.
All out of the sight of the guest, of course. But no, they didn't return for the ceremony. So the parents were so gracious to give them their rings.
Oh, that's nice.
So they could exchange rings, but it weren't their own rings. So,
I mean, in the end, it's a good story.
Yeah.
But it's just not practical. And I think your tip is very valuable. I've had it as well. Outside with an owl, the owl not wanting to fly. And then it flew away into a tree. I had it in a church with, I think it was a buzzard. It was so stressed because that's, they see the situation and it's different with all those people. And the buzzard sat behind the couple high up somewhere in a church, and there was laughter all around. But in the end, it does have to bring those rings. It worked, but still, I once had an owl who was so stressed that it flew into the curtains, and it actually ravaged the curtains. There was like a big, a tear in the curtains,
Oh dear.
which of course it's a fun story, but it's not what you want. So
No, also not for the animal, right?
no,
You know,
no, yeah,
who wants an animal to be stressed? And
yes,
yeah, of
yes.
course, it can be a pretty great effect and also picture wise, but
Hmm.
yeah. Hmm.
Think about it
Yeah. And
carefully.
also think about your guests, because I once had a couple who chose to have their rings well being delivered by an eagle. And you say,
Right.
an eagle? What? Yeah, an eagle.
Yeah.
It had a span width of 140 centimeters, which
Okay.
is quite big.
Yeah.
But there were also kids present, and it flew over pretty close to the heads of all
Oh
of
yeah.
the guests. And
Yes.
the kids started to cry, and they
Ah.
didn't feel safe.
Yes.
So yeah, that wasn't quite a
Think about
success
it.
they hoped it to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about other bloopers?
Well, what
Ring
about other
bloopers.
animals?
Other
Because you
animals,
had an
yes.
experience with a dog,
A
I
dog.
believe.
Yes, that was this summer. It was very funny. So the couple had a dog, a pug, a lovely, sweet animal. They're always sweet. Um, and they said, "Can he bring the rings?" I said, "Of course he can, but train him beforehand, so he does know what to do." And so they did. So the couple was sitting in the middle, the parents were sitting next to them, and the mother-in-law was having the dog on her lap. But of course, dogs they sense the atmosphere, they sense the people around, they know that something important is happening, and that it gives them stress. So the dog was very nervous, and he was
Oh
like,
dear.
he was really. Oh, I think someone has rung my door. I just have to go and open the door. Hold on.
And we're back. You were talking about the dog.
Yes, sorry about the interruption. So yes, the dog was very, very nervous, and he was just going like the whole time. So everyone was laughing about it. It was so nervous. In the end, it performed its task perfectly well. It handed over, it brought the rings to the couple. And the couple gave each other the rings. The dog sat down next to the couple, and it was as quiet as could be. So
Mm.
it was close to its owners, to the man, the bridal couple, and it was fine. It was just not fine when it was sitting with another person who was not the dog's owner. So that was one lesson. It was very funny to see, and it was drooling, and it was like, oh, it was a very funny situation, but it led away from the content of the ceremony, of course.
Yeah. And
Mm.
also not very comfortable for the one who is holding
No,
the dog.
no, it was not very
And their
comfortable for her.
outfit.
She was trying so hard to make the dog feel comfortable, but it just didn't work
Yeah.
until it had actually handed over the rings and sat down next to its owners. So
Yeah.
that's about animals. So you had another interesting animal within your ceremony. That wasn't
Yeah.
really a blooper, but it was
It was a
interesting.
rabbit.
Mm.
And you know what movements are, very particular of a rabbit? They're hopping.
Oh, yes.
And it was hopping everywhere except
Ah,
for
where it
towards the
had to
bridal
go.
couple.
Oh,
And
dear.
to explain a little bit further, it was their own rabbit,
Mm.
and they've trained it well lots of times,
Yeah.
and they even showed I believe it was his performance when I visited them in their home.
Mhm.
And it had it was a white rabbit, and it had a little how do you call it, bow tie.
Yes. Oh,
It was
sweet.
beautiful, and it worked beautifully,
Mm.
except for on the wedding day itself.
Yeah, and
And
that
like you said,
moment.
with that is also the fact for whether it's a bird of prey
Mm.
or your own dog
Mm.
or your own rabbit. animals sense something special is going on.
Yeah.
They sense the tension, they sense the importance of the moment. And it eventually it reached the bridal couple, but it took some time.
Oh dear. Oh
Yeah.
dear.
Yeah.
What
But
other
it makes
funny
for a
things?
funny story.
It does. It does. I mean, we do. That's the nice thing about our job, and we have to improvise, and we have to laugh about it, and we have to take it as it comes and solve things.
Yeah. Except for when it takes a while, I once had a witness who was supposed to bring the rings, and he left it in his car, which was on the other side of the canal, because they
No way.
they got married on an island.
Oh dear.
So that was one thing. And another time, it was a beach wedding, and the little ring bearer was so nervous that he dropped the ring,
in
which
the sand.
was on a shell, and it turned over, and the ring fell right between two planks of the pavilion.
Oh no way.
Into the sand.
Oh.
And luckily they had like a metal detector, like a machine, beep,
yeah,
beep, beep, beep,
yeah,
within the venue, and they found it
Oh.
within the hour. But the ceremony was already concluded. But
So they didn't do the rings within the ceremony. They did it afterwards.
We did it afterwards.
Oh,
yeah,
dear.
we did it during the toast.
Okay, well, good idea.
And it was a great solution.
It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had it once that the ring bearers lost 2 rings during a festival wedding on a big meadow, so in the grass. So they came with, they were the children of the couple. They came with their parents, and they were supposed to give the rings, and on the moment they actually got the pillow out, but no rings. So that meant that they had lost the rings on their way to the wedding setting, and they were somewhere in the grass. So laughter all around. And
somewhere.
Somewhere. And all the guests decided, I invited the guests, let's go and look for the rings on the path where they actually walked, or sort of where we thought they had walked. Fortunately, within a few minutes, we had found the rings.
Oh,
and they could actually give the rings to each other during the ceremony. And it was a lot of fun, which added even more to the atmosphere, because it was already a very, very relaxed atmosphere. And of course, fortunately, we did find them, because otherwise it would be a bit of a bummer. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So forgetting the rings, birds, dogs, rabbits,
losing the rings.
Things happen with the rings. They're always a good story. Most of the times, all is well that ends well, and sometimes it doesn't, but mostly it is. So let's end on this positive note.
Talk soon.
Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to How to Get Married in Holland.
We look forward to share more about organizing your wedding day in the Netherlands in the next episode.
Hit the subscribe button so you won't miss anything.
Any questions in the meantime?
Please ask Wedding Celebrants Daphne or Jasperin. You can find us, plus the show notes, on Instagram.
And if you love this podcast, please leave a review.
It gives us a higher ranking, so more fun international couples with Dutch wedding plans will be able to find us.
Until next time.